What's going on, guys? Billy here, and a few days ago we got a brand new update to the DJI Fly application. Released on August 4th, 2020, this version number is 1.1.6 and is 265.7 megabytes in size to download. The following patch notes accompany this update, and yeah, it's incredibly underwhelming to say the least. You know, usually most of the new features that get added to a drone come through a firmware update to the actual drone's software itself and not through an update to the companion application that's used alongside that drone, but in this case, we got an update for the Fly application and it gave us a brand new feature here on the Mavic Air 2, and despite everybody making a huge deal about this update, it was a long time coming because this is a feature that should have been in here since day one. It should have been available on the Mavic Air 2 since it released, but we'll save that rant for the end of the video. So along with fixing bugs and increasing the stability of the app, DJI updated the battery display info at the top of the screen by changing the battery icon to a circle shape that shows the remaining percentage in a larger text and adds color to the surrounding circle graphic to quickly understand just how much capacity is left in your battery. They also updated the estimated flight time remaining to show in a larger text, and upon tapping on the battery icon, you can now see the estimated time until the drone thinks that you should return to home based on your current distance, the estimated time until the drone forces you to land, and the estimated time until the battery fully depletes. I think that this is definitely a welcome change because those icons at the top of the main flight screen were so hard to read, they were so hard to see mid-flight just because they were smaller and they were white. They blended in with the background most of the time when I was flying both the Mavic Air 2 and the Mavic Mini, which yes, the Mavic Mini now has that updated battery design. Like if I showed you a screenshot from some of the older Fly application versions, you'll fully agree with me that the newer version shows the information in a way that is much easier to understand. Like the icons feel like they have more room to breathe and are definitely easier to see. They're more prominent. Now the big change in this app update comes through the ability to get into the advanced gimbal settings for the Mavic Air 2 to change exactly how it operates while you're flying the drone. So within the Fly application, we'll tap on the three dots in the top right corner and then head over to the control tab. From here, we'll enter the new advanced gimbal settings section to change the pitch speed, the pitch smoothness, the yaw speed, and the yaw smoothness. The pitch speed changes the speed at which the gimbal moves up and down, so I like a less sensitive gimbal, meaning that I will go with a lower number of about 15 to decrease the speed. The pitch smoothness changes the speed at which the gimbal comes to a start and a stop. The higher the number, the more smooth it will be, so if you're all the way up at 30, you'll notice that when you stop your input on the wheel, the gimbal keeps moving for a fairly long time, inching to a stop. On the opposite end of the spectrum, decreasing the value will make the gimbal come to a start and stop faster, which is something that I don't like, so I typically keep it right in the middle at around 10 or so. Now the yaw speed is something new added to the mix here with the Mavic Air 2 that changes how fast and how smooth the aircraft rotates. While the representation of this change can be seen through the actual video that you're shooting, this really isn't a change to the gimbal settings at all, but is more of a change to how the drone actually flies. Nonetheless, this is a good change that really lets users dial in how they want their drone to fly. I should also mention that within this app update, we can now change the gimbal control for each of the different flight modes. So for normal mode, sport mode, and tripod mode. This is such a great addition because it really gives you the ability to tweak how the gimbal operates dependent upon your flying style. And with that, that is where all the new changes and new features end to this big app update that we got for the DJI Fly application. Now this is where the video is going to take a turn. We're going to kind of go into a little bit of a rant here because this drone, the Mavic Air 2, was released on April 27th. And this update didn't come out until August 4th, so that was a span of 99 days. Over 3 months it took us to get such a simple feature that should have been there right out of the gate. Now the reason that I'm so upset here is not because this is a brand new drone with a brand new application. The Fly app has been out for a fairly long time now. It's been out for over half of a year. It's been being used with the Mavic Mini, and the Mavic Mini had the features and the function to change how the gimbal operated, the pitch speed, the pitch smoothness. So it was written there in the code, and I understand that this is a beefed up version of that because now we can change the yaw smoothness and the yaw speed, and we have so much more flexibility with the gimbal control in the Mavic Air 2, but the core functionality was there written into the application, into the Fly app, and it's just now being added. And there's another sign of this. We didn't need some brand new firmware to come out for the Mavic Air 2 to give us this function. It was just an update to the Fly application. Now, I understand that there's a lot going on in the world right now with the current illness, with everything that's going on. I understand there's delays across the board for new hardware, new software, but this seems like such a simple fix. It seems seems like such a simple add-on to the Mavic Air 2. Again, something that should have been there from the get-go. So I have a bad taste left in my mouth. I hope that this is not something we see from DJI moving forward. I think the Fly application needs a total overhaul, and I hope that DJI understands that people just aren't happy when they use the Fly application. They're making these small minor improvements, they're making these minor tweaks, but regardless, the Mavic Air 2 is a very powerful drone, and it's being held back by its companion application, and that is the DJI Fly application. If this was running DJI Go, it would be so good. We would have so many different things we could change. The battery settings, we could choose how long it took to discharge the battery. We could change the EXP settings, the gain settings, the brake settings, everything, but we're left with a very limited application, a very limited experience through the Fly app. So that's my TED Talk. That's my rant. Thankful that we now have the gimbal control, but it should have been here 99 days ago, 3 months ago, when this drone initially launched. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.